Okay, today we're going to be looking at ga, meaning but, and this one is used in between two clauses. So not the particle ga, but how it's used at the end of a clause or even a sentence. Okay, well, how many different ways are there to say but? Well, there's actually quite a few, and these would be three of the more common ones you'd hear. Demo is, well, there are quite a few different meanings for demo and usages of demo. It means but it's slightly more formal than the other two listed here. So you would see that mainly in written language, even though it is used in spoken language as well. Kedo is probably the most informal of all of these ones, and so it's used quite a lot in spoken language. And ga is used in a similar way to kedo, so it's just a little bit more formal than kedo. Okay, and of course ga is used in written language as well. Okay, now the function, how it's actually used in a sentence is quite different though. Demo is used at the start of a sentence, and kedo and ga are used in between two clauses or two sentences. Okay, so for example, if you had one piece of information, like even a whole sentence or just a clause, ga, second sentence, second piece of information. And one other way of thinking of it is a statement, ga, contradiction. So something, but something. An example. デパートに行きましたが、何も買いませんでした。So I went to the department, but I didn't buy anything. First thing you'd notice, and especially as a native English speaker, you'd notice that it is very one-directional. As you hear it, you can understand it, you can process it. Have a look at the next few examples. 新しい iPhone を買いたいですが、高すぎます。So I want to buy the new phone, but it's too expensive. Okay, again, you can actually understand it as it's being said. Now I'm going to give you an example of the opposite a little later on. 日本語は面白いですが、漢字は難しいです。So Japanese is interesting. Japanese language is interesting, but kanji are difficult. You notice that the pronunciation sometimes is a little different as well. Okay, 日本語は面白いですが. Okay, it sounds like there's another n sound in there sometimes too. So what would happen if I forgot the ga between the two clauses? Well, quite simply, it loses a lot of its natural sound and it becomes a little bit more disjointed. Okay, so take for example this one here. Yamamoto-san wa shizuka na hito desu. Shinsetsu desu. It's not really that natural, not natural sounding, but it's not really that fluent sounding. Yamamoto-san wa shizuka na hito desu ga shinsetsu desu. Okay, please mind my pretty bad pronunciation then too. So Yamamoto-san is a very quiet person, but very nice, okay, a considerate person. Alright, so how's this different to the usage of kara at the end of a clause? Well, quite simply, they're very different. Okay, ga means but, and kara, it means, well, because of something. Alright, and also it's a little bit harder to process kara as a native English speaker. I'll give you an example. 日本語は面白いですが、漢字は難しいです。Okay, so as I said before, it's quite a one-directional flow of information and you can pick it up quite easily, especially as a native English speaker. Japanese is interesting, but kanji are difficult. However, when you use kara at the end of a sentence, it means because of something else, like the cause and effect sort of situation. 漢字は難しいですから、毎日勉強します。Because kanji are difficult, every day I have to study. I have to study it every day. Or I will study it every day. Okay, so as a native English speaker, you've got to actually wait for that kara and then process what was just said and then think about what was said after it. That's a little bit harder. And making that sentence is a little bit harder as well. So the difference, when you use ga, it means but. Okay, and it's quite a one-directional flow of information. When you use kara, you've got to have the reason, like the cause, because of something first, and then the effect, what happens after. I hope that helped.